Let's go. Hello and welcome to the Solomon Shrine Podcast. I'm your host, Robert Jackson, creator, director, and wears so many different hats. And today's little victim here, or special guest, but still victim, is Belsheber Rusape, aka Marshall East Code.
Yeah.
Yeah, but thank you so much, man. Like, I know it's been quite some time since we did the last time we were doing an interview, it was just kind of like on my Station Square, type of normal setup. But here, since this is
Right.
Solomon, I figured this would be the week where we chat and interview with pretty much a lot of the main voiceover artists that are going to be involved with the series and just, catch up on what you've been up to.
Absolutely. I appreciate you having me over. It is a blast to be a part of the Solomon Shrine. But anyway, overall, I've been doing good. I've just been doing my own thing, basically. It's like if voiceover isn't popping off, I'm usually just drawing, doing my own little space thing. And if it's not that, then I'm usually just going outside, touching grass.
Yeah, I think that's something that we all could do these days.
Amen. It's like I have to draw in order to really incentivize myself to watch TV if there's nothing that I personally want to watch that's currently on. So going outside has just been really therapeutic. I don't know why, but it's like spending less time online has been one of the best things that's ever happened.
Yeah, I just don't really try to keep up with the news. And I think that just doing like a detox, like only just going on socials just to post episodes or just update on Solomon is probably for the best. I mean, that's kind of what I've been doing anyways. Like, I don't really
Hmm.
engage with a lot of um, like Twitter, like, hey, let's do this trend meme or what have you. Like, I know it can be fun, but
Same.
I just don't really have the time like I used to anymore, unfortunately. I think a
Amen to
lot of us are kind
that.
of like that.
It's like it looks fun and I'll support it, but it's like I don't really feel like investing my time in doing the whole, you know, popularity gig thing.
Nope.
It's just I don't know. I guess I'm just like waning my time just to see what exactly entices me personally. And if it's just spending time for myself, then I'm gonna take it. Like I've pretty much grown into being comfortable in my own space, in my own time, in my own existence, and just enjoying that. And another thing that really helps with that is having other hobbies. Like have something that personally interests you, whether it's art or design or just, building things together with your hands, just like see how everything comes together. Or even if it's just cooking. Like I've been doing a lot of cooking for myself lately, and it's actually been very nice, like just killing time. Like just sitting in the kitchen, just whipping something up, even if it's just like prepping meals for the rest of the week. Like if it's something as simple as that and it takes up time, you're doing good.
Exactly. But regardless, I'm just really excited to do this, and I'm just so pleased that I have three of the four, cast. We're just waiting to hear back from Mr. William. So, but regardless, I wonder who that could be. But anyway,
Yeah.
I mean, the announcement is out, so everybody kind of knows who that
If you
is
know,
by
you
now.
know, but we're
If
not
you know,
wasting
you
time
know.
on that.
But yeah, thank you so much. And let me see. But yeah, since this is technically the Solomon Shrine podcast, we'll definitely be talking a lot about, my little pet project, so to speak. And just momentarily, I mean, look, we're kind of dressed for the occasion. I mean, you're Marshall
Right.
and I'm repping my boy William, so yeah, it's kind of the only thing that I got going on at the moment. So yeah, but there will be more episodes of Solomon on the way, and you can definitely expect to see more Solomon that's going to be coming out pretty soonish. And I'm just really excited to see what we've got cooking up in store. But for now, because I know since we did technically do an interview last time, I think I've asked like, how did you get into blah blah blah. So we're not going to do that this time. But I kind of wanted to know what is something that you've been, because yeah, I've been seeing you just everywhere, just making all these announcements and just really getting your name out there. So yeah, tell us about some of the big stuff that you've been kind of, you've been partaking in as of late. And we want to hear more about what you've kind of been, dabbling into, and just, yeah, where can we hear you on that is out currently, if you don't mind sharing with us, my good man?
Alrighty then. If that's the case, then a few of the things that I've been in. Well, let me announce the first one because I I earlier this year, well, late last year as well as earlier this year, I got to do like sporadic recordings for Dragon Ball Daima, which is going to be premiering this Saturday, like weekly on Toonami. So check that out. Every Saturday starting this Saturday, like June 14th, is like it's gonna be a weekly schedule of Dragon Ball Daima. It is gonna be so much fun because Dragon Ball Z has been throughout my entire life. So it's so much fun getting to be a part of it this time. I don't know how to really explain it. Like it's just one of the biggest things that's ever happened in my life. And even if it's just for like a small moment, like for small moments, it always just feels nice knowing like I got to get this far. Like this honestly is like a personal milestone for me. It's like between Dragon Ball Z, Yu-Gi-Oh, and Pokemon, those are like my top three goals when it comes to like childhood franchises to work on. So if I can accomplish the other ones, that would basically mean I'm set for life. Like I could just say, I don't care what I book next. I know I've accomplished what I wanted to do. But in terms of other things, you can find me as Temperance in the Gaslight District, Freckle from Lackadaisy, Aidu from Anyway I'm Falling in Love with You, Kakeru Sengoku from Horimiya, Ending from My Hero Academia, and many other anime characters that I'd have to actually pull up a list to really name at the moment. But overall, those are like the top five that I would personally recommend like anyone to check out.
Yeah, I'm just so jazzed when you made that Daima announcement because, yeah, growing up, I used to watch Dragon Ball Z Abridged, then just kind of slowly but surely, kind of starting to familiarize with myself with the franchise, and specifically with Daima. Like, I know it's kind of also sort of bittersweet because I think that was the last thing that Toriyama was directly involved in. So
Right.
yeah, it's kind of like a nice little bookend of sorts because it kind of harkens back to the OG Dragon Ball, and now I think it's kind of a rather fitting send off to pretty much a pioneer of anime and manga, and just yeah, just as a
Absolutely.
nice little tribute to him. So thank you, Akira. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Akira Toriyama.
Yeah, but I'm just so excited for you because because who was I just talking with about Daima? Because I know it was one other guest that I just had on. I think it was Alistair or somebody, but we were just kind of talking about, Paul Castro because one of his that was kind of something that he actually also grew up watching. Um, and Paul also does his own little podcast, but
Oh
when I
yeah,
found,
yeah.
yeah, him. So when he booked the Prince of All Saiyans like
Yeah,
Vegeta,
mini Vegeta, that was
that
crazy.
is just so crazy. And that Super Saiyan scream that he posted, like, oh my,
Oh my
yo,
God. Like,
what?
dude has lungs. Like, oh my God.
Yeah, one of these days, like, if I ever do one of those, I'm gonna make sure that I give it everything, because you got to give it your all when it comes to the screams. So it's just gonna be
Mhm.
like, oh my gosh, actually, they're paying me to do a Super Saiyan scream, though. Oh my, yo. It's
Oh
kind of
my
like the
God.
same as like when you book Persona and then you yell Persona, and
Exactly. There's like that archetypical scream associated to each franchise, and it's like you
yeah,
want to do it with all your heart, but
yeah,
you also
transform,
remember.
roll out, so many catchphrases that you never thought you could actually say like officially, but yeah, and it's kind of like when you're Bugs Bunny and you just say "What's up, Doc?" in official media. That's oh man, that's just like one of those pinch me moments because you
Yeah,
grew up with it, and it's like I'm actually on this show.
bye,
What is
because
this?
the biggest thing is like it's one thing to be in the project, which that in of itself is a dream, but if you were one of the people who actually got to do the iconic parts of the franchise, that in of itself is a rare luxury that only a select few among those select few in the cast get to do.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. Dude, it's like getting to work with the actual official cast that you grew up with is like another like
Oh my
surreal.
God.
Yeah, because I know for you, because specifically when it comes to Daima, like I know that with a lot of anime you do have to record solo. So I guess we could just talk a little
Mhm.
bit about, getting to be a part of such a huge monumental franchise like Dragon Ball. Just real quick.
Mm. Okay, I guess if I were to explain it, it also really helped that Jonathan Rigg, the ADR director for Dragon Ball Daima, he himself is a huge nerd too. Like he is a diehard Dragon Ball fan himself, and it was like when you get to work with someone with a whole crew that loves Dragon Ball as much as you do, it completely changes the dynamic because you're all having fun while making sure that this is the best it could possibly be. So you're not afraid of messing up because you're all in it together, learning together, and trying hard together. So having that collaboration put so much tension at ease. And to be more specific, I've also, on top of having a major episode antagonist one time in episode 9 of Dragon Ball Daima, I've also been Walla sporadically throughout the show. So for those, I actually did get to like work with some people, together in the booth, which it was a lot of fun, but again, like I said, group effort, meaning that we can all take joy in knowing no one has to feel ashamed if we ever mess up or anything like that because we're all having fun here. It's Dragon Ball Z. We're allowed to be silly, we're allowed to be crazy, we're allowed to be spontaneous.
Exactamundo. And yeah, it's just still crazy that you're in Daima. I still can't believe it, man. And yeah, the Gaslight District as well, because I think that's okay, so I know I keep seeing it everywhere, and I think that's something that's a part of Glitch, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, it's a Glitch Productions.
Yeah, so I guess just working with glitches also must have been like, oh my God, am I actually doing this right now?
I'm not even gonna lie. I didn't even think I was gonna get cast as Temperance. Like,
Yeah.
so that in of itself was crazy to me. But one thing that was also interesting was that the name for some of the virtues were different in the sides versus like how they ended up being like in the show. So that was also interesting. Like I didn't even know that Temperance's name was changed until the casting announcement. But it's like they don't even say their names like that anyway in the actual pilot. So I guess it's just like that's something that you could just change spontaneously, like in production anyway. So it was just that was a fun little detail. But I think the craziest thing was why are the virtues so gorgeous? Like they are so beautifully designed. And I think that was done on purpose to contrast, the other characters in Gaslight District because they're supposed to be the more grotesque, violent, belligerent, like demonic sort of looking characters. It's like they all look like zombies times infinity.
Yeah, and from what I've seen, it just looks so gorgeous. It just looks gorgeous.
It's like imagine imagine like an American art style with the movement of an anime, of like an old school anime, like basically, like that's essentially what it is. It's like old school, like abstract designs, but with anime speed.
Yeah,
It just adds something.
yeah. And I guess this is probably the perfect segue into the main attraction, which is what you're probably tuned in for, Solomon Shrine.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, let's you know what? It's time for us to talk shop because yeah, it's yeah, from its conception from 2020, going back before admittedly years prior on a actual camping trip that I went with youth and now just turning it into this crazy kind of survival mystery horror game spoopy whatever like boogaloo it's just definitely something that I'm very much am the most proud. I mean, like I have other, little stories and projects that are in the pipeline and that I'm also kind of cooking up, but I think for this one, I just really think that the concept that I had going for it was I just really love how everything just kind of all came together, with the casting process, the writing, just everything that is just in between there. So I know that we kind of had the meeting like I think it was like a month or so prior to this,
Yeah.
but yeah, what were your first initial like reactions when you got the casting call and seeing this in your inbox? And yeah,
Mm.
just what your initial thoughts were about Solomon Shrine, if you may be willing to
Okay.
share.
Well, my first thoughts, well, the art absolutely was a good selling point for me because one thing I do like is when even if even if the project itself isn't a visual medium, it at least has something that gives me a good process to understand what each character could be like and like how they really go about their things. But overall, the premise was very interesting. Like it was so much fun because I adore I adore like the supernatural like horror elements, especially when it comes to like the mystery aspect of it all. So having a story built around that, it's beautiful. Like I adore that kind of thing. So this really flew by my alley. It was just scratching an itch and I just kind of went for it, you know?
Yeah, and let me tell you, the when I say that the casting process, because I was also working on a different project called Various Five, and we're
Hmm.
supposed to announce the cast relatively soon, so keep an eye out for that. But yeah, just getting to work on two different projects is like, I know it's a lot of work, but honestly, this is something that I just really love doing alongside acting and all this crazy other mumbo jumbo I do. So anyway, when it specifically came to the casting of Solomon, because for various I had to listen to every one of them myself. So Michaela, who
Hmm.
I absolutely adore, Michaela Laws,
Yeah.
we because we kind of were talking. I mean, we did talk about this when I did the episode with her, which you can watch on my YouTube right now. We were just kind of because I literally was like, hey, Michaela, you want to help me cast this? And she was like, okay. And we just kind of talked details. No, I kid you not. I think that's literally what happened. I just dropped it from the shadows, like, just come again, like, Joe, like, Dio, like, you thought it was Robert, but it was me, Dio, dropping in from the shadow. Let's go. I'm approaching you. And yes, that's pretty much what I did. I approached Michaela, somewhat JoJo style, maybe, I don't know, just casually, and then we were just kind of talking like the story, the characters, and just the designs, and yeah, we would, and I mean the designs, like when you look at the because I don't know if I also shared this with you privately, but the just like the evolution of how the character designs just evolved over time. But
Mm.
yeah, we just kind of decided, you know what? We want to go with like a more wimpy kid, bone kind of Captain Underpants
Yeah,
style.
yeah,
And
yeah. I
then
think we
it
did
just
talk
kind
about
of evolved into like something that you would see on like it's sort of anime-ish, but it's also like it's so bold and dynamic, like Lupin the Third, and also some modern Disney shows like Gravity Falls, Star, that area. It also has a little bit of Scooby Doo in there, but one of the
that.
fun aspects was making it like they're gonna have like a lot of really sort of traumatic. Yeah, I think that's
Yeah,
the best term
yeah,
for it. Where it's
basically.
like they go through some stuff, let me tell you. And I just want it to be in a way where they get to learn. Like, what are they learning from all of this? Are they going to come out the same, or are they just going to come out as a completely different person? And I just really want the audience to second guess as we go along. That's always been one of my
Right.
favorite things when I'm doing projects like this. Second guessing the audience
Hey, that's what's
and
up.
tricking them. Yeah.
Yeah,
And you're thinking
yeah.
that everything's fine, but then, oh no, it's not fine.
Oh my goodness, no.
Yeah. But I'm just like, yeah, so oh, sorry, I don't know what was that, but
Nah, it's all good.
when we were just kind of like, I guess it's kind of the summer or whatever,
I
but
mean, to be fair, my stomach was just literally growling a few minutes ago, so it was
hey,
weird.
yeah, I mean, I got some brunch going on over here, so that's probably what I'm gonna dig into after we finish this. So
That's
the
what's
casting,
up.
yeah, that's what's good, man, just to feast and celebrate.
But
Let's,
anyway, the casting.
yeah, the casting was it was pretty interesting. So when we were kind of talking a lot about, what we wanted to do for the characters, because Kayla Temshev, I also want to give a shout out to them as well, because we were writing a lot of the scripts and we really wanted the cast to just be as diverse as possible. Like when it comes to the worldviews, characteristics, personality, vocal. We just wanted everybody to just feel very lively, unique, and not really because William is not going to be the same as Marshall, and
Right.
he's not going to be the same as Haley, Adrian, or even the other characters that are not listed in the casting description, but will be coming out pretty soonish. So yeah, keep a lookout for that as we do our round two, and that's going to be a lot of fun. So yeah, but specifically for these four, I just want them to be very distinctly different, just and also they're just so they cannot be any more like opposite with I don't want to say they're at odds with each other. I mean like at first, they're trapped in a in a predicament none of them even expected or really wanted to be in anyway. So
Right.
how do they kind of come to terms, or how did they kind of work around it? Just is it the power of teamwork? Do they go against each other? These are
How
questions that is, yeah. So what were we gonna say? Sorry.
how do a group of contrasting personalities
Yes, that's
go
always been
through
one of
a
my favorite.
problem?
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly. It's like they're all just radically different people who are thrust into the same situation, but they get into it with each other. So it's like, what, like, how exactly do they, either complement or contrast each other in order to really save the day?
exactly. Yeah, and it's just kind of like having all these different contrasting personalities just play off of each other. There's a lot of comedic possibilities, but also it's you kind of wonder if there's gonna be some sort of like rift in the friendships, which,
Right.
yeah, I don't want to spoil too much, but let's just say it's gonna be quite a doozy later on. Because it's like you start off a series that is like, relatively normal, but then stuff hits the fan really quickly.
Right. Because, see, that's the appeal of psychological and survival horror. It's
Yeah.
the unpredictability of the relationships and how they affect the circumstances.
Yeah. I mean, one of my all-time favorite, I don't want to say all-time favorite, but a filmmaker that I kinda sort of respect is Stanley Kubrick. I mean, we all kind of know how when you're working on a Stanley Kubrick film, it's like going into Vietnam.
Oh my God.
But yeah, I do admire his filmmaking techniques, specifically when it comes to the psychological thriller aspect. I mean, we can all quote The Shining every day, all day long. Also, recipe Shelley Duvall. I also really think that it is something that is just so very fascinating to me. Because when I mention psychological, getting into that stuff, I always love shows that really lets you get a psyche. Like, why is the villain like this? Why are the characters like this? How are they gonna respond to a traumatic situation like this? So, and that's why one of my favorite shows, and I know that you kind of also got this when you were looking at the characters, art designs and stuff, it's Gravity Falls, where it's
Yeah.
sort of like mystery, a little bit of horror, and kind of like I also threw in a little elements of like Courage the Cowardly Dog, which is also kind of
Ah,
like a
yeah.
mystery,
Yeah.
kind of comedy type of thing. So, but we're definitely making it a little bit more scary, so to say. And it definitely it grew a lot. It definitely evolved a lot from the original roughs that I was doing. When I brought Kayla along, they would just kind of pitch me stuff that is like, okay, I like this idea, let's make it worse.
Oh my God.
Or it's like, no, when they have an idea, I'm just like, okay, I hear what you're saying. How are the characters going to respond to it in a way that is like, okay, they'll be able to grow and have character development. So maybe we could just tone down this aspect, but absolutely yes to this, because I'm just like, oh, I want to know how if it's going to cost like, okay, the longer they're going inside this thing, because we just want to know, just is it going to be a matter of time before they break?
Right. It's like
Yeah.
if you have an idea, find out how you can make it worse. That is so
Making it work.
genius.
Yeah, make it worse, or if there's gonna be like a breather, like sometimes they'll play like something that is like, oh, okay, that's not too bad, but then
They find a way to make it bad.
And then they find a way to make it bad or even worse than before. Exactly. Yeah,
Oh, this
trust
is
me.
gonna be fun.
And this is kind of like my first ver because I usually do like a lot of comedic, kind of like soft slice of life stuff. So when Kayla and I, we were just kind of talking about, okay, how do we make it as screwed up as possible? And then they'll just be like, I got you, fam. And then I would
Yeah.
read the roughs, and I'm just like, oh, let me add something here, and da 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 da. Or I would just
Goodness.
provide a rough, and then they'll polish it, do a little bit of elbow greasing on it, and boom. That's pretty much how we kind of work together as a team.
Holy
So I
crap.
just, yeah, we usually text or we just because when we're scripting or writing something, because both of us have insanely hectic schedules, which we kind of talked about in the episode that I did with Caleb. So we we would just kind of have like little meeting. I can talk. We would just meet on Zoom, and then we would just kind of provide roughs, either like through, in our own spare time, like usually during like our, if I'm not recording, like usually during late in the night, texting, going back and forth. But yeah, that's pretty much how the whole process goes. Where it's like we kind of provide a rough, and then we just we just provide a little elbow grease, added our own little messed up little ideas, and that's our episode. That's pretty much an episode in a nutshell. So trust me, when I say it's gonna be a doozy, I just cannot wait for y'all to just be really immersed, because that's what I really love about just getting to work with this cast. Is like when it came to the auditions and then getting to the callbacks, it's like, oh man, reading a lot of this really crazy stuff that Kayla wrote or I kind of just pitch in there. It's like, man, y'all just really gave it your all. And then I just cannot wait to see how you're going to handle some of the more emotionally driven character stuff as we go along into the season. It's supposed to be like 2 seasons, so we'll just see if it's going to be condensed. But yeah, so
Mhm.
far it's going to be a lot of episodes, and it's going to be very long term, and it's going to be a wild ride that I am very much looking forward to getting on, man.
I
Let me
am
tell you.
so excited for it because I adore psychological horror. So I want to see how bad it gets. I want to see the insanity that y'all been cooking up. I want to be a part of the monstrosity.
Dude, like just watching the teaser alone should give you a pretty good idea of what's gonna happen. And it is out on it's also on my YouTube channel. Like I'll also link it in the description if I get around to it. But
Okay.
yeah, it's yeah, with the two sisters, Sid and Dom, which by the way, so when it came to the characters, like the vocal quality is kind of something that I wanted to share with like, Sid and Dominique. So for these two in particular, like I had an idea of what I wanted them to, because I don't really focus on the voices. I just focus on the character dynamics and personality. Because one of my goals is having like a very contrasting, like very different dynamic between, Sydney and Dominique. So when it came to both of them, I got a completely different idea. Like when we were writing the stories and when I was directing the two actresses who did phenomenal um as the two the tag team duo, or the two stooges, pretty much. I was just like, you know what they gave me is completely different from what I had in my mind, and they just did it so beautifully, and I just cannot thank them for that. And that's kind of what happened when it came to each of the main cast. It's like they delivered exactly what I wanted, but you in particular, like you had a different quality to Marshall that I didn't really expect. But I just figured, you know what, when we were going over the submissions, Michaela listened to everything, and then she sent me the top five, and when I listened to you, I was like, oh, I really wanted to cast you, but let me do the callbacks just to be safe. And then
Yep.
Michaela and I listened to all the callbacks, and our choices were pretty much unanimous, which usually doesn't happen. And I'm just really glad that I have you along the ride, buddy.
I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Especially because, reading for Marshall in the auditions alone was crazy because I like characters like Marshall, like the very like go-getter, like the go-getter ambitious types, and
Uh,
throwing that kind of person in a life or death situation is always going to have so much potential to it because you never know what that person is actually like unless you put them in a very tumultuous like circumstance.
exactly. Yeah, I guess that's something you kind of see a lot in Marshall when you were reading.
Right, because there's a difference between the guy who wants to get with the girls during summer vacation and the guy who has to fight for his life and make sure that his friends don't die at the same time. You know, that kind of guy who's trying to be like the big bro on campus kind of person, you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
and maybe, this experience will help him learn how to be more of a be more of a man.
So he would think, but I mean, I just hope this gives him a sense of maturity that
Exactly.
he supposedly was lacking, like in the beginning. Like maybe all the survival that he's had to do will teach him, you know what, I don't need to force my friends into being my wingman in order to really do what I want to do. Like I'm confident in myself in order to get what I want and just be myself.
Exactly. So, since we're kind of almost at the end, I know there's not really a lot that we could discuss, but I think those are just some of our favorite stuff that we've learned so far. It's like the different personality, the character, just looking at all the behind the scenes stuff. You know that this is going to be quite a ride. And I keep saying that, but trust me, it's going to be. If I'm just going to say what the cool kids are saying now, it's going to be peak. So, yeah.
There it is. There it is. I think ultimately what it is we have to wait until it's actually like in production, like actually like released episodes first before we can really
Yeah.
be like, what was our favorite part about working on Solomon Shrine? And what is your favorite part about your character? What is it that you think Marshall is going to be doing next, given the circumstances of what he has done thus far? It's like I wanna be able to like sink my teeth into the adventure so that way if I have like 1,000 predictions in my head about like what's gonna happen like before we actually get to read the next the next episode, I want to be in that mode. Like I want to be the fanatic while being a part of the performance at the same time. Like I love doing that.
For sure. Yeah. And it's just kind of like we're just gonna keep on. The audience is just gonna have to keep on guessing, because, like I said, I'm that type of person that likes to throw surprises, just throwing a curveball when you least expect it.
Oh, and those curveballs will hit hard because it's like
Exactly.
it's
Yeah.
like you could have some really good momentum going where you think everything's gonna be fine. Bam!
Yeah. Like I said, doing the auditions and then the callbacks alone should give you a good grasp of what's to come.
Do you think that the auditions also gave you a sense of what you're probably gonna do to the characters now that you've heard what they sound like? And so you're gonna think to yourself, I wonder how I'm gonna torture Belle, like in this scene, in this
Oh,
episode.
yeah. I'm like, dude, especially with like, because I literally just did an interview with Diana, who's going to be
Mm,
Adrienne. And, like, Adrienne is kind of like as peppy and just bright, sunshiny as you could possibly be. But then you
right.
throw her in a situation, it's like, oh.
And
And
Diana has a
Diana's a
very
sweetheart.
bubbly. Diana is such a sweet person and like has such a bubbly voice. So I'm just thinking to myself, please, please spare Diana. Don't-
Oh. Oh, yeah. There's going to be
Nah.
one game in particular that's going to be quite it's going to be quite a contrast with the other stuff that she does.
Oh my God, this is gonna be
Yeah,
so
I mean
crazy.
with everybody really, because I know that specifically with Sean, because yeah, who's gonna be William? Like Sean has been in a lot of Zelda, JoJo, and I know he's done some fair share of like horror and stuff like that,
Right,
but
because he voices Subaru from ReZero, and
yeah, I was gonna
that
say, so
was
this is right up his
oh,
alley.
like oh my God. So he knows how to do like that emotional break.
Yeah, and there is gonna be. I'm not gonna. Yeah, I don't want to get into it, but let's just say, how long will it be before the characters just snap one by one?
Hmm.
And are they
This
going to rely on just their luck or wits, or are they just going to rely just on because there is like with Solomon Shrine, there's some biblical stuff in there. So are they going to rely on faith, or are they just going to go and just outright just do something that is just not right with the Lord, or just something that is like pure evil? Are they going to become worse than the monster or the villain themselves? So
oh
those are
gee.
questions that's going to be pondering into your mind as the production goes along.
It's like,
Yeah.
imagine if this ends up being something like as messed up as like Silent Hill or Solo Leveling, and like the
Yeah. I
level
don't know
of,
if it's anywhere like that, but
I mean,
it's
don't
in
sh
that.
hey, don't sell yourself short. You never know. You
Yeah,
never
exactly. Like
know.
right now,
Pick
it's
yourself up,
like,
man.
yeah, like we got it already taking some stuff from like Stranger Things and
I mean,
what's that other one,
yeah.
Squid Game. So yeah,
Yeah.
anything's possible. But
Hey, you
yes,
never know if someone's going to be taking inspiration from Solomon Shrine and being like, oh my
I
God,
could do this.
yes, exactly. Be the person who don't just be the inspired by insert this, insert that. Be the one that inspires people to be like, I want to be just like this. I
Just
want
like
to.
that, or of like that one meme, or it's like, I think it's Guardians of the Galaxy, where it's like, "Oh, do you one better? Who, what, where, why? Yeah, I'll do you one better. Why is Solomon trying? I could do you better. Yeah." And then it just becomes like a conga line of like, I could do this better. I could do this better. Oh, I could do this.
Exactly.
Exactly.
It's going to
So
be
yeah,
amazing.
I think since we're kind of around the end of this,
Mhm.
any final thoughts, like any social, like if you want to self promo, do that
Oh,
stuff.
okay. The obligatory self promo moment.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
no problem. All right. So y'all can find me on Twitter and Blue Sky at Bel Rusape VO. And you can find me on my website, belsheber So if you guys want to hit me up for any voiceover related stuff, or if you need, graphic design work taken care of, or if you want a demo reel written up, or you want some resources for the demo reel, then hey, you know where to hit me up. You can just hit me up on socials or on my website.
Yeah, and would you like to do the outro of "Hi, my name is Bell. I'm voicing da da," and
Oh
this
yeah,
is
sure
Solomon.
thing, no
Yeah,
problem. All
whenever
right.
you are ready,
Huh,
my good sir.
okay. Hi, my name is Belsheber Rusape, and I'll be the voice of Marshall from Solomon Shrine.
And this is Solomon trying with Robert Jackson. Oh yeah,
Uh,
I think you're also supposed to say this is the Solomon Shrine podcast with Robert. Yeah, right.
okay, okay. This is the Solomon Shrine podcast with Robert.
Yeah, thank you. And what would Marshall say to close us out?
Hmm. Well, I don't fully know yet because it's like we haven't really dug that deep into
I know,
Marshall.
yeah. I guess it would just be like join, watch the show or something. I don't know.
It's like, hey, everybody, stay tuned because you never know what's gonna happen until it starts to happen. And I really hope that the worst thing that could happen does not happen, but you never know. No, oh man.
Exactly. Yeah. What if we do like an ask a character Q&A at some point in the future? That would be dope.
Bruh, that would probably have to be written though, because I'm
Exactly.
like, but like we would so be ad-libbing on that one. Like, not even gonna
Y'all would
lie.
just ad lib so often. But yeah,
But yeah.
thank you so much for watching the Solomon Shrine podcast. And remember, play for your life. And I'll see you all next time. If you
Mm.
dare return on the Solomon Shrine podcast with Robert and Bell. Take care, you foolish mortals.